Blog Talk Radio.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is BeatStreet Sports Talk Radio. Yeah, we had a little break over the holidays, and now we're back. This is your host, Lee, a.k.a. the Hoops Guru. Got my man, my partner in crime, MKA, Mr. Know-It-All, my man, Ed. Hey, Ed, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
Hey, it's all good, brother. Just hanging out, dealing through this snowstorm we got here in the Northeast.
Yeah, man, y'all be safe up there, man. I'm in the ATL. We don't get none of that. So y'all stay bundled up and keep everything tight. Happy New Year to everybody out there, by the way. Hope y'all continue to support BeatStreet Sports Talk Radio. We're going to try to do bigger and better things for this next calendar year. And if anybody would like to join the banter, you can always call us at 347-945-6921. We just wrapped up Week 17, the last week of the regular season in the NFL. A lot of good football, a lot of playoff implications were ironed out, and we got the playoffs starting tomorrow, so we got a lot of ground to cover. But before we talk about the specific games, I got to give a hat off to MKA. Mr. Know-It-All, you did your thing, man. I got to give you credit. You won the regular season. You crushed me Week 17. You only lost 2 games, so you went 14-2. I went a respectable 11-5, but it wasn't enough to catch ground. My horses didn't come through, namely the Atlanta Falcons, the Miami Dolphins, to name a few.
Did you say Baltimore?
Yeah, I took Baltimore too. Yeah, they sold me out too. So, hey, yeah, I wasn't even in that game. I mean, at least I thought I was good. Though Atlanta was doing their thing. I was like, all right. Arizona was holding it down. I was like, okay, I might be able to do something. But nah, man, I didn't. I lost. So you're the grand champion. Your final total was 168 wins, 86 losses. I had 162 wins and 92 losses. So it was close, but you pulled it out, man. So you all Mr. Know-It-All for the NFL Season 1. Congratulations, punk.
But you know what, though? We both did good because I know I listen to the paper a lot, and I be seeing, like, a lot of the columnists and a lot of their records. And, yeah, we pretty much crushed a lot of them for who I've seen across the nation. Like, a lot of these cats be having, like, 200 losses. So I really don't know what the hell they be looking at when they be looking at these games. But
so on the national average, we doing all right?
No doubt.
So okay, man, I can hang my hat on that, man. But man, you that was your best week 17, man. You pulled a Jordan on me, like you was just like,
yo, man, you gotta be clutch, man. You gotta be clutch, man. That's why I told you when we had like about 2-3 weeks to go, and you was up with me about 3 games, you getting all cocky with it like you do, being a New York cat. I was like, look, man, say it ain't over. I felt like I had finally zeroed in because there was a couple of teams I was kind of missed on. Because I know I was riding Miami earlier. I had to hop up off of that. Then I caught on to the Jets late because you caught a couple of L's because, you wasn't giving, Geno that defense no props. So that came back to bite you, too.
If I would have showed the Jets some love, I think I could at least tie this thing up, man. Like, I bet against them like the last 3 or 4 weeks, and I think I lost like every game on them dudes, man. So the Jets, and speaking of the Jets, let's talk off with them. They played real good down the stretch. They saved their coach's job. 8-8. I think that's a lot better than people predicted them to go. How do you look at that as a building block for next year?
Well, first off, I want to say I like Rex as a coach. He helped himself a little bit getting Marty Mortonway, the former offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. Because he actually shown that he cared a little something about the offensive side of the ball for the team. The defense played well. Ed Reed thing, wasn't no breakthrough performance. But pretty much Wilkerson and their first-round pick, Sheldon Richardson, they pretty much was monsters up front. The other high pick, Milner, he had some struggles at corner, but, it's his first year. That's a tough position to play in the league the way the game is now. And with Geno had his moments, up and down, but I would not be surprised if the Jets still don't draft another quarterback to bring in competition because he didn't do anything this year to outright say that he's a starter for next couple seasons.
Another team that loss was the Chicago Bears. They lost to Green Bay. You know, Aaron Rodgers proved that, hey, he's a special guy. Hats off to Green Bay, man, because people wrote them off, but they're in the playoffs. And Chicago did lose, but felt the need to go ahead and give the man Jay Cutler a 7-year deal, 50-something odd million guaranteed. I know you like that deal. I heard a lot of veterans, Chicago Bears veterans, don't like it at all. Why do you like that as a good deal for Chicago? And do you think Jay Cutler is actually worth the money?
Let's see. The Bears. First off, it doesn't matter what anybody of those players think on the team. I know a lot of them and people like you and other people across the nation was on this McCown thing, who's a journeyman quarterback and who's 4 years older than Jay. He's 34 years old, and that's all he is a backup. Did he have a nice little run? Yes, it was a nice little run. But Cutler is 30 years old, been in the league 8 years, been a Pro Bowler. Now, his skill set is as good as anybody in the league. He does take some chances. He needs to take better care of the ball. He's a real tough cat. But Cutler played well this year for the team when he was in there to play the games outside of the ankle and the groin injuries. And with the weapons that they have on the outside, it's pretty much the same thing that I told you was going to happen with Romo when you and everybody else in the world was acting like I didn't understand when I was saying that he was going to be re-signed. Who else are you going to get that's better? And I know that people don't want to hear that, but the thing is, if you can't answer that question, then shut up. Because it's easy to say you should get rid of somebody. Hold on. It's easy to say you should be able to get rid of somebody. But if you don't have somebody who you know you can get, not think you can get, not hope you develop, but someone who you know you can get that's better, that's not going to make your franchise take a step back, then you have no choice but to go ahead and go with what you have and sign him to whatever he wants, because whatever you won't do, somebody else will.
Well, my thing is, my biggest question is, yeah, he may have the arm intangible, but from what I see and heard of him, he has poor leadership skills, which to me is the biggest black eye as a quarterback. Matter of fact, I don't think if you was a black quarterback and had poor leadership skills, you'd be wide receiver coming into the NFL. So I think that's the biggest mark against Cutler is he has poor leadership skills, man. And also I don't see, to me, if you're going to pay a guy that kind of money, there needs to be a vast difference in his skill set than the guy that plays in his place. And I didn't see that this year. I don't think he's worth guaranteed $50 million. I just don't. He's proven to be injury-prone, and he's proven like he's not a top 5 quarterback. I think that they gave the dude top 5 quarterback money, which he isn't.
Okay.
You know,
is Joe Flacco a top 5 quarterback?
No, he isn't.
Okay. So he got the money. Is Matty Ice a top 5 quarterback?
But look at it this way. No, let's go back to Flacco. Flacco brought a chip in. You know what I mean? Cutler, okay. I don't even know if he makes the playoffs like that. So, I mean,
but I'm saying, you're saying a top 5 quarterback, but that's not fair because we've already gone through the top 5 quarterbacks in the league are like superior to everybody. So it's not fair for you to say that. So that's why I was saying to you before. It's not about having a top 5 quarterback. It's about having, like Romo. Romo's not in the stratosphere with those guys, but Romo is a top 10 quarterback. Once you get past the top 5 and you get to that 5 to 10 range, that's where Romo's name has to come up. If you're being real about the situation and not being a hater, just off a doggone. Now, of course, people like you are going to bring up the turnovers and going to bring up the fact that he's not clutch, which I'm going to wholeheartedly agree with. But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing that kills me. Everybody wants to say the things you just said about Cutler. Oh, he's injury prone. He's not tough. He's not a leader. Things about Romo. Oh, he's not clutch. I hear all these things, but then all these things are a factor now. But then when I bring up my man Tim Tebow's name, you know what I hear? Oh, he's garbage. He can't pass. Oh, he's all those things those guys aren't. But then you're going to get on him because they don't have style points. So my thing is, depending upon what's important to you and a player, is what these teams are going off of. And teams would rather have guys that are not tough, guys that are not leaders, guys who are not clutch, that look the part and play the part sometimes, than somebody who undoubtedly has proven and shown to be tough, a leader, and clutch.
You know, you said a lot of words, man, just now. I don't know if you made any points, but you said a lot of words.
I always make points.
I mean,
you would always hear them, but
I'm just giving you a hard time, man. My thing is like this. If someone guarantees you a job, you need to be vastly better than the guy that you're taking the spot of, or that you're being picked over. To me, and it's about cohesion. McCallum may be an older guy, so why not draft a young quarterback behind him, give this dude his pennies, and let him rock it out for a year or two and groom another quarterback behind you? Because this dude shows at least that he's serviceable, and he's going to take you to the same place Cutler's taking you. You know what I mean? If for that money,
I don't know. I don't know what it is that you was missing. Cutler, when you look at the game, the ball is dramatically goes out faster, better velocity. He throws the ball downfield. McCown was not throwing the ball down the field. Like, did he throw the ball here and there? Yes. But Cutler has the ability to throw and spray the ball all over the field with velocity to the point where defensive players can't make plays with the ball. That's not McCown's game.
Look,
so they were way more restricted with McCown being the quarterback than with Cutler.
Hold tight for a second. I'm gonna play the devil's advocate on this one, or use one of your things. Let's look at Tim Tebow, right? Mechanics weren't the greatest yet, but somehow he's on it. And you're a Tebow backer like I am. I think, hey, regardless of what you say, at the end of the day, this dude gets you wins, right? So that's what I'm saying. To me, it's like this Cutler was not vastly better to me, where he was getting wins better than the guy that McCallum was. So to me, he didn't show anything that warranted them giving him this big contract. Flacco did. Flacco took him all the way to the promised land. You can't get no, like,
okay.
Even if you get overpaid, they had to.
And I'm going to throw you a curve. Do you remember how the Bears got Cutler?
But he was with, who was he with? Was he with Denver?
Yes.
Nah, because Tebow didn't replace him. He didn't replace Cutler. He replaced Orton, right?
Right. They got him because they gave up picks and players for Cutler. When they gave up those picks and players for Cutler, they automatically had to go ahead and re-sign Cutler because of what they gave up. And I know you saying you don't see nothing different between the two players and all that stuff, but I'm going to give you this. In the 4 years that he's been in Chicago, he's thrown for 14,000 yards. He's already the franchise leader in career passing yards.
That's all kinds of
okay? I want you to think about that. The franchise leader, okay, in passing yards. And the Bears ain't no young. We ain't talking about the Carolina Panthers here. The Chicago Bears have a storied history. They're one of the top 10 franchises in the whole NFL. He is the franchise leader in passing. And I will say this to you. Can you name me a quarterback that's better than the Bears have ever had than Jay Cutler?
I'll say Jim McMahon. At least he brought home the chip.
Yeah, he brought a chip, and it wasn't because of him. He was just there to hand the ball off because the Walter Payton, and they had the 85, one of the greatest defenses of all time.
Hey,
okay, I mean, so I hear what you're saying, but when you got a dude to play 4 years and throw 14,000 yards, and he's your franchise career passing leader, and he's the greatest quarterback they've ever had, you're going to do whatever it takes to hold on to him. So that's why they did what they did.
But to me, with all this talent in quarterback, the quarterback position right now seems like it's in a revolution. There's a lot of quality guys out there playing this, kind of new style football that's going on. Why not take a chance on some new talent? I just don't, Cutler is good, but like you said, it's just like Romo. Como, these dudes are good, but they're not taking you nowhere. So why keep, the definition of insanity is what? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. They're not giving different results.
You were just saying that, though. But here's the thing. The thing is that I will say this. I know I've always said Romo's the top 10 quarterback. Now, is he clutch? No. But because he gives you that, see, people like you focus on if a person is super elite like Aaron Rodgers, that's not fair. What you need a player that can raise his level of play like Flacco has done in the playoffs. You don't need a dude to be elite all the time. You need a dude to be elite or clutch where you need him to be. And I'll give you, i.e., Eli Manning. We all know Eli Manning had a horrible year. But when it comes to the prime time and the playoffs and he can go on a run, he has the ability to have elite moments. It's sort of like when you used to play the video games like Contra, and then you would go and you would get the icon and you would have a shield on him. That's pretty much what it's like for these quarterbacks. You need a quarterback that has the ability at necessary times to give you elite level of play, even though he's not an elite player. Okay, right. And that's what Flacco has done the past 2 years.
If Flacco and Eli have done that, what run has Romo or Cutler been on to say, okay, they're in that breath? Not saying like, all right, they took us on a run and lost the Super Bowl or took us to the conference championship or gutted us out of 2 wildcard wins. They haven't done any of that. That's what I'm saying. It's like we're giving them facts they haven't achieved.
But the thing, they haven't done that. But here's the problem. The problem is they're not elite, they're not bums, but they're better than average. They're above average quarterbacks that you have to go ahead and make sure the other things around them are better because of the fact of what they're not. So that's the reason why you pay them that money. Because trust me, put it like this. Here we go. I'm going to do a word association game with you. Now, keep in mind, Romo, keep in mind Cutler. If the Minnesota Vikings have Jay Cutler, are they better or worse?
Better.
Oh, okay. You didn't want to say that, man. You still with me? Okay. All right.
No, I'm thinking Minnesota was not bad. They had too many quarterbacks to think about, man.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. If the Oakland Raiders have Jay Cutler, are they better or worse?
I don't know. Terrell Pryor was good when he was healthy, man. But I'll say better.
Houston Texans, are they better with Jay Cutler or worse?
This year? They're better with me this year. See, that's not fair either. Because Sean
No. Because you're saying it's not fair, but I'm trying to give you an example of the fact that you want to talk about what these guys are not, but people like you don't focus on what they are. No, you can put doggone Romo and Cutler on over half the teams in the league, and they're still better than all those quarterbacks. So just to stay right there, you're going to pay that money because you're not going to get better than that.
But to me, as an owner, I wouldn't. I'm like, this dude. It's like
you're not going to win either.
But no, to me, it's the same thing as being like a marginal NBA team. Like, we're always like a 4th seed, and we always make like the first round of the playoffs and get bumped out. You don't want that. So to me, if I'm at a crossroads where it's like, all right, I could pay this dude, and we're getting the same results, making the playoffs or missing the play, going 8 and whatever the Bears were and missing the playoffs like they've been doing. Or, you know what? I'm going to stick with this guy right here that's pretty much giving us the same record. I'm going to draft this young kid out of high school with this cannon and see if he could change the course and direction of our franchise because this dude's not taking us anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but here's the thing. I know what you're saying, but like this. The thing is you're putting –
I'm just saying real quick, it's like, what's the difference between, at the end of the day, being the Bears and being Jacksonville? There is none. You're both home. You know what I'm saying? So why pay this dude to give you the same thing Jacksonville's giving you?
Okay, what was the Bears record?
I do not know off the top of my head. 8-8,
okay.
9-7.
The Bears had a winning record. Jacksonville didn't. And another thing too, you keep forgetting this is a business. This is a business. Okay, I get way more money at the gate and parking and merchandise as my team is winning. And see, this is another thing that you fans keep forgetting. This is a business. This is entertainment. I'm not going to go ahead and take a noticeable, like, look, Jerry Jones, a prime example. I'm not going to go ahead and take a step back to go ahead and hopefully, doggone, wish and pray on a star that this other dude I get is going to have the ability to exceed the level of the player in which I got. That's why the ideology in the league is that this is what I do. Okay, my quarterback is not Peyton Manning. He's not A-Rod. And so far he has not shown the ability to have those flashes of doggone eliteness when needed. So what I'm going to do is, the NFL answer, I'm going to improve the team around him. And the classic examples of that were 2 people I've been calling bums for the past 3 years, which are doggone Matt Schwab and Dalton. Those 2 guys are on 2 very talented teams, and they're the weakest links on their teams. But the way the management looks at it, that, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and improve everything else around them to help decrease or eliminate doggone what they're not. That's the hope.
Okay.
Now, with Texas, we already see that's blown up. With Cincinnati, they're going to get past this first round, but after that, Dalton's going to sell them out. Okay,
right.
So the thing is, it's too hard to find those guys at quarterback. So the most you can do is improve the team around them, get some great coaches, hopefully if you can, and then just hope if you can just get lucky and overcome, and then maybe your quarterback will mature or he'll have a flash of greatness. You can just ride a wave. That's all you can do.
All right, before we move on, I'm going to ask you a question real quick. If you traded Cutler for Romo, would there be an improvement on either team?
There would. They're both two good quarterbacks, but I would have to say, I don't want to say this. I would have to say that Romo is he'll put the same numbers he put up in Dallas. He'll put those same numbers up in Chicago. He put them, but I can't say that. I can't say the same for Cutler, only because in Dallas I believe they have certain coaches issues that would get in the way of a player like Cutler. Like this season that just passed is the first season that Cutler was really truly comfortable with an offense since the Pro Bowl year he had with the fired coach Mike Shanahan from the Redskins when they was last in Denver together when he had Brandon Marshall. So his success has always been connected to Brandon Marshall. He's never really been super crazily successful without Brandon Marshall. They have like a thing going on, a nice little duo combination.
Shoot, Eli needs a Brandon Marshall, man. He ain't been that good since he lost Plex. But yeah, let's move on, man. I think that was a good little thing going back and forth there. Good points on both sides.
You gonna get to the playoff game this weekend?
Yeah, we're going to, man. But one question I want to ask you real quick. Lovie Smith got hired as the head coach for Tampa Bay. Do you like the hiring, or if he had options to pick any of the vacancies, did he pick the right one?
He had options. That wasn't one of the options. The options he had was
No, I said he took Tampa Bay. Is that a good fit?
I know. I'm getting that. But what I'm going to say is that the two known options he had was Tampa Bay and Detroit. Now, this is just me.
He had all.
Well, I personally believe, and I think a lot of people believe in such, the best job is Detroit, because that's one of the few places you can go to where you don't have to worry about having to get a quarterback. The quarterback is already in place. You have the quarterback, you got Calvin Johnson, you got Reggie Bush, you got Sue and Fairley on the line, and, I mean, the team is still young. They don't got a whole bunch of old heads. To me, that's the best job in the market. He was supposed to go ahead and talk to the Lions next after he met with Tampa, but Tampa was like, nah, that's not going to happen. We're going to lock you up right now. You ain't going to ever make it to no play in Detroit. So they pretty much just doggone, gave him an offer he couldn't refuse. He got a 5-year deal. It's like 4 years, $5 million a piece, and the 5th year is the option year. Now, the thing that I think that hooked them into Tampa is the fact that they also have a young defense as well, but also he served as a linebacker coach there back in the day before he became the coach of the Bears. But just from a team standpoint, I don't see how he leaves Tampa signed and he never talks to Detroit. That Detroit team, with his type of style of defense and also him being an old-school disciplinarian, he could get that team to the playoffs. I don't understand why he did that.
A good coach. That's why I thought he would have been a good coach for the Redskins if they were on the table. Because I just think the biggest problem they had was, RG3 seemed like because he was the prodigal child, he could do whatever he wanted to do. And I think you just need to bring somebody in and like, listen, I'm the head coach, and there's no questions about it. So all this whining to the media, you trying to be above the roster, it's not going to happen. And I just think he would have just tightened things up. But then again, I believe that's the same thing you're saying in Detroit. Everything is there. They just need to reevaluate their culture. I mean, pretty much that's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I'm looking at him like, okay, you can go to Tampa. I mean, like I said, to me, he had to have gone there because they don't have a GM, so maybe they may have gone ahead and told him he gets to choose who he gets to work with, combination of the pay, and also the fact that he has familiarity with the area. So I'm going to say those are probably the 3 reasons, but I don't see how you pick that squad over Detroit and they don't even know if Mike Glenn is the answer, and they may have to draft a quarterback, and he has to go through that. You know what I'm saying? But, hey, to each his own. I mean, that's what you want to do. You go ahead, but I don't see how you don't never go to Detroit to talk to them.
Well, let's get to it, man. There are 2 games Saturday, 2 games Sunday. The first game is, 4:30 game. Kansas City at Indianapolis. Kansas City, I believe, has the better. Do they have the better record? Or they same record. But in any case, Indianapolis is at home because they won the division. Go ahead, my brother. They're both 11-5.
I know they just played each other like week and a half ago, and I know Kansas City smashed them they beat around 23-7 in Kansas City. You know, I've been going back and forth in this game, and I didn't want to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the Colts not only because they're at home, but because of the fact that I just believe that Colts are like real streaky. And I just think that Kansas City, I know the guy Houston, the other rusher, he's coming back from missing about 4 or 5 games from an elbow injury. And as I saying, Tamba Ali, the other pass rusher, may be playing, but he may be struggling with groin and knee injuries. And without them guys being totally healthy for this run in the playoffs, that goes against one of the 7 keys that you need to be successful in the playoffs, which one of them is your playmakers have to be moderately healthy, which they're not on that side of the ball. So I think that the Colts should be able to go ahead and do this ground and pound short passing game thing they're trying to do. I think they should be able to go ahead and do that against Kansas City. But I know Jamal Charles and Alex Smith are probably going to, make some plays. But I'm going to go ahead and take the Colts because I think actually the Colts are the underdogs. I think probably Kansas City's favorite, so I'm going to go with the underdog.
Yeah, I'm surprised. The Colts have been erratic all year, even though they have a good record, 11-5. That's nothing you can be sad about. But I'm looking at who's trending right now. Kansas City has lost the last 2 games. Indianapolis has won their last 3 games, and I think actually Kansas City has lost 3 of their last 4 games, something like that. I know they're so. In that regard, something's telling me Kansas City, they peaked, and I think reality may have set into them. And Indianapolis has shown they're a good team on the road and exceptional at home. The way they handled Denver at home, that was amazing. I believe Denver was undefeated at the time. So in this regard, I think Indianapolis is going to be pumped, and as long as they're able to me, as long as you're able to score on Kansas City, you're good. You're all right because they just don't have that deep threat. So they're always going to be able to be contained. Even if they're going to score points, if they get behind, they really don't have a chance to get back into the game. So in that regard, I'm going to have to pick Indianapolis at home, too, to win this game, even though it would be nice to see Kansas City. You know what? It wouldn't be nice. They've had a good year regardless. So I'm picking Indianapolis to win at home. The next game that afternoon is the good New Orleans at Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm. Well,
you local, man. You can give me your blood up.
I'm looking at this game and going back and forth on it, and it's just going to come down to a couple of things. One of the things that you need to be successful in the playoffs, you need to go ahead and not turn the ball over. Foles, as we know, between the 2 quarterbacks, it has taken better care of the ball. Also, neither team really has a strong red zone defense, and also the Saints are like in the 20s ranked in reference to stopping at the run. That's not a good look when you got to see the leading rusher. I'm really interested to see how these Eagles perform. More than likely, it should be okay, but I really want to see how Nick Foles performs in this playoff pressure and see how he goes with that. But I'm going to go ahead and go with the Eagles only because of the running game. I believe the defense is going to be bend but don't break, and I just think that the Saints are going to have more turnovers. And I just think that, McCoy, I'm not going to say he's going to run for 200 yards, but I see him definitely going over 200 yards. And I'm just going to assume right now that Foles is not going to just lose it all, and he's going to be as solid as he has been during the season, taking care of the ball. And I think that, and along with the fact that the Saints are like 0-5 in their history in road playoff games, and the fact that it's cold, are all going to be factors that's going to, doom them. So,
well, Philadelphia has actually been able to turn home actually into an advantage, which they seem like they had a problem with last year and earlier parts of this year. I think, Nick Foles has proven he could play in weather, which the Saints haven't in their history, even to the point where Sean Payton is trying different tricks to, I guess psychologically motivate the team to be better in these climates. So, and Philadelphia has LaShawn McCoy, who seems like he likes to thrive in this environment, which we've seen before. I mean, but Philly's weird, though, because they did throw up that real terrible game against?
Minnesota. They gave up 48 points.
Right, they did do that. But, I mean, and of course, Drew Brees and them, they had the potential to score a lot of points, but their track record is just not giving me any confidence. So I'm gonna pick Philly at home to win this week. It's gonna get tougher, but I think Philly will squeak out a nice one. I think it'll be good. But you can't New Orleans though. Even though I'm picking them, Drew Brees has heard this a lot. I want to know if this is going to be the thing that motivates him to prove that he can play in this weather, just like Peyton Manning. But that's why they got to play the games. We'll see. The next one is your Saturday 1:00 game, San Diego at Cincinnati. Probably the toughest pick out of all the games this weekend.
That's easy for me. I'm going with Cincinnati because Cincinnati plays great at home. They're undefeated. And with San Diego, they really ain't got no business being in the playoffs regardless. But these two teams have already played each other, I believe, a couple weeks ago, and Cincinnati beat them. I see that happening again. Now, I think the game is going to be unnecessarily close because Dalton's going to be silly and probably throw another interception because he had like 22 on the year. But like I said, I told you all year, on paper, and even when we look at the game, Cincinnati is the most talented team on both sides of the ball, especially in the entire AFC. They probably even rival in Seattle and the Niners. But at the end of the day, my rule number one for advancing the playoffs, you got to have a quarterback that can handle it on his own. And Dalton surely is not that. But I think the team is going to be good enough to beat San Diego at home. Now, that next week is probably when they're going to go bye-bye. But this week, I'm going to give them the dub.
Man, I don't like picking either. I hadn't had good luck with either one of these teams all season. Cincinnati, they looked real good last week. The defense was on time with Baltimore. But Phillip Rivers, man, I don't know. He seems like he's that type of dude. When you bet against him, he has that week you think he could have. But I'm going to give Cincinnati a little bit of an advantage. They played real well last week, and I think it's going to carry over just because they are at home. So, they're living in the elements more than San Diego is, and they should be at home. I think it finally did sell out. So, it should be kind of raucous up there in Cincinnati. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the Bengals to squeak this one out. I think it's going to be a lot of points on the board, a lot of turnovers even. So it's supposed to be bad weather. I think it's 100% chance of rain in Cincinnati. So, you got to factor in that as well. So it'll be an intriguing game.
That's been downgraded to 40% now.
Oh, how did it go from 100 to 40?
Meteorologists, they be tripping. The 100% thing is ridiculous, but.
Hey, man, if you see this big cloud, they ain't going nowhere, but hey. Now, the last game on Sunday should be very interesting. Weather should definitely play a big part in this. San Francisco at Green Bay. Reportedly, the weather is going to be -5 degrees during the game with the wind chill factor in -30 degrees. I know I'm not built for that. So go ahead and give me your picks and tell me you think who's going to win this game.
Well, what have I been telling you all year about the NFC?
But it's mush?
No.
Go ahead, man. I don't know. You told me a lot of stuff this year, man.
I told you for the next 2 to 3 years, you still don't know? So you want to act brand new. I told you for the next 2 or 3 years, there is no team coming out of the NFC other than Seattle and San Francisco. The last 3 times San Francisco has played Green Bay, they beat Green Bay all 3 times. It's been good weather, bad weather in San Francisco, in Green Bay. Green Bay is horrible against the run. The Niners are great running the ball. So there is no way, unless of course Aaron Rodgers just has a phenomenal game. There is no way that I see Green Bay knocking off San Francisco. I see them getting their 4th loss in a row to this team. And if everything plays out the way I'm expecting to play out, San Francisco will be going back to Seattle to get their rematch on, and the Eagles will be going to the BOA, also known as Bank of America Park, to go see Cam.
You just had to get that Cam in, boy.
That's my dude, man.
I know you're going to have Cam in the NFC Championship game. I know, going up in Seattle. But you know what, man? I think I may be the only dude out here, man. I'm picking Green Bay to win, man. They got their hero back. I know Clay Matthews isn't playing. I think that would be an extra motivation, of course, on the defense. But I just think the whole energy around this game is slated towards Green Bay. People wrote them off there in the playoffs, and because the NFL is dumb, they actually have home field advantage, which to me should play well. I really want to see how Kaepernick is built to play in this weather right here. And Aaron Rodgers, he's going to be all in. He played in these conditions similar last week on the road. Had to handle his business in Chicago, so I'm thinking that Cheesehead Magic is going to show up. Yeah.
It's cold in San Francisco, right?
It ain't brick in San Francisco though, man.
Kaepernick is from Wisconsin, right?
I didn't know that, but that's all right.
And you also know that he also played University of Nevada, and it gets cold there too.
All right, man.
So this cold weather is not going to be a thing for him.
But he ain't playing the cold weather, on the bay where Lombardi's at. The ghost of Lombardi's at.
I can't hear the way the excuses you about to make next week, but all right.
Hey, hey, man. Like I said, I don't use facts all the time in my pick.
I'm gonna put you like this. Out of all 4 of these games, that's the game I absolutely know that the team is not going to win.
Wow.
Okay, I'm gonna put you like that.
I like that.
All the other games are suspect. Because I want to say Cincinnati, but Dalton is just ridiculous. He's going to keep that game close than what it needs to be. But out of all 4 of these games, that's the one game I know that pick is exactly right.
Wow. Okay, man. I'm gonna put this John in bold right here. Don't San Francisco lose.
Oh, they won't.
Then my thing is, what is wrong with the NFL, man? Like, I understand.
With what?
Division. Do you agree with division leaders get a home game regardless of the record?
Yes, because you won your division. So, because the thing is, if you just win your division and then you still go on the road, then what's the whole point? Then that means the only thing that matters is you just making the okay. So that means you win the division don't mean nothing.
Well, it should
because that means I can go ahead and win. Okay, well, how's it not a reward? So let me just say, so you having a better record than the division winner is a bigger accomplishment?
Yeah, it is. Because look at it like this.
No, it's not.
Your reward for, let's see, Green Bay, who's 8-7.
What's the name? Kansas City.
No, Green Bay was 9-7, right?
No, Green Bay is 8-7-1.
Oh yeah, 8-7-1. They get home field advantage over San Francisco. But the reward, to me, and the other, it should be making the playoffs. Because in reality, if you went by the conference, Arizona would be in and you would be out. So to me, it's like, okay, because you're in this division, you are in the playoffs. But no, you do not get the home field over a team with a better record. You just get to make the playoffs because you won your little whack division. That's what I think, because like I said, you still were able to get in over a team like Arizona, who was vastly better than you were this year. That's what I'm saying.
I know, and I get what you're saying. I'm just saying to you, if you go off of that ideology, then that just means that winning your division doesn't mean anything.
It means
you still haven't addressed that. Okay, no, I can make the playoffs by winning my division. So why is it that I don't get anything for that? I don't get anything for winning my division?
Yeah, you get to make the playoffs. You don't get to be at
home. No, but see, okay, I'm going to help you out with this again. Okay, we already have both made the playoffs. If the only difference between the fact that we both made the playoffs is record and I won my division, how does you having a better record than me trump the fact that I won my division? It's not my fault what division I'm in.
I'm looking at it as a conference as a whole, right?
No, see, you know what you're doing? You're doing it by basketball. This is football. So you hear it from a basketball perspective.
But it's still
this ain't basketball. This ain't basketball.
But the NFC is still a conference, right?
Yeah, but within the conference you have conference champions. So how do you not reward the conference champions?
Well,
I don't understand how you think that's okay.
No, I do think that's okay. But what I'm saying is this. And is that right now, right? You in the NFC, you have the East, North, South, West, right? So you have 4, right? You have 4 different divisions, right? So out of 4 different divisions, 4 teams are entitled to make the playoffs for winning their division, right?
Yeah, 4 automatic bids. Yep.
All right, and then 2 teams, because of their record, are wild card teams, right?
Okay.
What I'm saying is, to me, it makes more sense to reward a team because Green Bay's record is not better than Arizona's. Green Bay won the division, so they do get to make the playoffs. But I'm not going to I'm still not giving them a home game on top of that for a team who may have not won their division but has a better record. That's what I'm saying. It's like you do get to make the playoffs, yes, even though there were other teams in the NFC that were better than you, but unfortunately they didn't win their conference. So yeah, you will be in the playoffs. You do have a chance to fight for the Super Bowl, but you ain't gonna do it at home because your record wasn't better. That's all I'm saying. Is like,
and I get you, but I get you, but also going off of what you said, if there's no benefit for obtaining an automatic bid to the playoffs, there's no reward for that there.
The reward is being able to still play.
No. You
not better than.
No. Okay, but here's the thing though. I won my division. How is it I won my division, but then you're telling me I have to go on the road to a team that didn't win a division, and it's not my fault they weren't good enough to knock the team off, they got to buy.
Because they're better than you still, even though you won the division. They're not.
They're not better than me because I won. They're not better than me because I won my division. They just have a better record.
They're better than you.
Okay, yeah. Their record says they're better than me, but the thing is they didn't win their division. So because I obtained an automatic bid, man, here's the thing. I already had my ticket to already go. You bought your ticket late. So how is it I already pre-bought my ticket, and now you just bought your ticket from the bottom of the corner, and you get a better seat than me, and I bought my ticket 3 months in advance? Really?
Hey, like this. To me, it all comes down to games played. Like, yeah, you do have your division. These are your rivals. These are the guys that you get rewarded for beating this set of guys. But when it comes to playoffs, it should all go on record. That's what I think. Like,
well,
yeah,
this is what I'm gonna say to you. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say this to you. They're talking about adding 2 more teams to the playoffs, meaning 1 per conference. So instead of it being 12 teams, being 14 teams, they've already said if they make it 14 teams, then what they'll do is you'll have the 4 division winners and you'll have 3 wild cards. And they said at that point, then they said what they'll do is that they will reseed the teams when the playoffs start. So that way what you're talking about will go by that format.
I think that's cool because to me, San Francisco should be at home. I just think they should be. You know, I mean, they're 8-7. Getting the home game is whack to me when the team is coming in at 11-5. But
I'll give you like this. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say we're running into overtime, so we're running out of time here. But we're going to have to do another show tomorrow because we didn't even talk any college football or any basketball. So we got some catching up to do, man. So we'll do a show tomorrow as well. But yeah, man, this thing's about to cut off on us, so we gotta wrap it up. Anything you gotta say before we get out of here?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you focusing on that. The